Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear?
Can hear you loud and clear, Coach Jay. How are you doing today? You feeling any better?
Feeling a little bit better. Well, at least I thought I was, and then I just fumbled the ball at the goal line on that intro. I don't know what I did there. We're here. We made it. But I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling good. Looks like the chat can hear us and see us, so that is always a good thing. How you feeling today, Coach Paul?
I'm feeling good. A little warm. It's still pretty hot here in Chicago. But I didn't. I'm not running it out in this heat.
It is a heat wave for sure. Markets heating up also, making new all-time highs. So we get into that. But welcome everyone to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, identify opportunity, how we could take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. This is one of my favorite segments in the trading space in general, and I'm saying that as a homer, as somebody who's half of this segment. But some of the information that I get here is extremely useful. I say it all the time. Our goal is to identify opportunities, see how we could take advantage of those opportunities. If you were watching slow markets last night, my slow markets trade of the night came from the information that I get from this show. Now, anything we say here is for educational purposes only, not trading advice. But when I hear some good information, I take it and I see how it fits in my game plan. Coach Paul, I want to give you a shout out for that Euro short trade last night. You didn't say that the Euro was a blind short. You did say that there
No,
was opportunity in that market due to the volatility, and that volatility led to a pretty damn good trade. Maybe I'm playing favoritism here, but I love this show.
I do too, and I enjoy working with you. We've done this. What is it? Almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years. We are pretty close to the 1 year anniversary of doing At the Buzzer on YouTube. I do have something planned for that, so stay tuned here. But yeah, we're close to a year on YouTube, which is pretty awesome to say, and we can't do it without joining us every day. So thank you all to our chat for being here every day. If you haven't done so already, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button, and tell us how you think this show, if at all. I think it's pretty damn good, but you
You ca- That is so true. And yeah, like you said, Coach, that was was a nice break. But that's part of what we do on the show. We look for opportunity where we can find it. And like I said, it was worth the risk. We think in probabilities. Um, so it did get an extension. We'll go into that a little later, but let's start with what you have right there. Oh, we have to
Uh,
go through the news.
yeah, we got to go through the news before we get into that. We did have some numbers come out today. U.S. advanced goods trade balance came in at negative 5.99 billion. Forecast was negative 98 billion, so a little bit better than expected. We had wholesale inventories month over month come in at 0.2%. Forecast was negative 0.1, so a little bit better than expected there as well. Jolt's job openings came out 7.437 million. Forecast was 7.5, a little lower than expected. Consumer confidence, consumers are still confident, 97.2 when the forecast was 96. We do have some earnings out as well. Visa just reported adjusted earnings per share came in at $2.98. Estimate was $2.85. Net revenues came in, and this has been kind of the theme with the banks. Banks doing well. I think besides Bank of America, net revenues came in at 10.2 billion. Estimate was 9.87 billion. For all of our coffee drinkers out there, Starbucks reported earnings per share 50 cents. Estimate was 65 cents.
Mm.
So a miss there, but a beat on revenues came in at 9.5 billion. Estimate was 9.29 billion. I haven't bought a lot of Starbucks this quarter. Sorry, Starbucks. Maybe I contributed to that.
Maybe
I've
you did.
been drinking coffee at home. I've been drinking coffee at home.
Yeah.
Anything else you got on the news, Coach Paul?
Nothing except for tomorrow's the big day. I think everything is behind the FOMC, but that Jolt's number was is a little, disappointing. Does it lead to a trend? No, I don't know. But I don't that because that JOLTS number has really created some volatility in the recent past. But other than that, all hands on deck for FOMC, and it's funny because it's what 98% sure it's going to be
Same.
keeping it the same. So
But that
um,
2%, that means there is a chance. And I feel like a complete hypocrite right now. As I have this Dunkin' Donuts cup in front of me. I said I've been drinking coffee at
uh,
home. This is the first day I've actually bought coffee outside in about a month. Uh, I bought some new pods for my Nespresso machine and they didn't work. So I went and got coffee. But every other day I've been drinking coffee. Just in case somebody else wanted to call me out, I did it first.
well,
Uh,
I still make my own coffee. That's my Scottish and Semitic blood, I guess. Um, I used to be a big fan of Starbucks, but then at the end of the month, I tallied it up. I'm like, I could pay rent with what I
right,
spend here.
right, right. Your
But it's good
coffee.
coffee.
Yeah.
For all you Starbucks, I'm not, but it's good coffee. They have great lattes. But when I added it up, I'm like, wow,
That's how much I'm spending.
that's how much I'm spending. Yeah, that's why. So anyway, there is that debate. What's better, Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks?
America runs on Dunkin'. That was actually my first job ever. Was at Dunkin' Donuts. So I'm a little partial to
Time to make the donuts.
right. First job ever was at Dunkin' Donuts. Uh,
Yeah.
walked in and the guy. So quick story about being prepared. The guy had like a grand opening planned for like 2 days prior to this date, and my friend texted me. He's like, "Hey, you want a job?" Yeah, sure. He's like, "Show up at Dunkin' Donuts." Get there, and there's a bunch of people I went to high school with, and he's just like, "All right, everyone here has a job. I'm gonna give you a day. Just show up on that day, and we'll train you from that point." That is not a great way to start a business. They're still up and running, but bunch of high school kids, bunch of we people quitting left and right. They're like, "Hey, go take out the garbage." And I've had some friends that went and took out the garbage and just never came back. So plan, plan ahead is the moral of that story. Uh, talk about these markets though. To the downside today, we have soybean meal down 1.07%, wheat futures down 1.62%, and lean hogs down 2.59% for our biggest percentage mover to the downside. To the upside, we had natural gas up 3.29%, RBOB gasoline futures up 3.82%, and crude oil, our biggest percentage mover to the upside at 4.06%. Second day in a row that the energies have stolen the show as far as percentage movers go. Yesterday, they were all the top percentage movers of the day as well. Talked so much trash about crude that it finally got moving. Biggest percentage mover of the day, 2 days in a row.
No, we mentioned yesterday that it was holding support. It was over at 200. I didn't see $3 rally coming, but
Right.
um,
CH.
maybe we go back to the top of that range. But we'll go into that in a little bit.
Absolutely. We have the S&P down 0.31%, gold up 0.43%. We already talked about crude and the Nasdaq down 0.17% to round out our big four. I have a Nasdaq chart up here, and did make new all-time highs in the Nasdaq. 23,652 half is our new all-time high. Made it during the regular trading hour sessions and sold off from there. But a pretty nice move overall. Let's take a look at the daily really quick, Coach Paul, because I think we have something interesting kinda going on here on the daily. What are you seeing on this daily chart?
Well, um, s- it hasn't turned. We're still. That still looks good to me. Now, what I see is, can we get a 3-bar reversal at all-time highs? We're not there yet, and I think there's a lot of some profit taking in front of a possible FOMC. Um, percent chance of a surprise. But in front of FOMC, not surprised. But if it's going to be a break, and let people talk about October being a bad month for stocks. Historically, it is. When we think of all the big breaks, it comes in October. Um, but those breaks start in August. I've done the research. It doesn't start in October. So I would lean on Coach Dakota and define what a three-bar reversal really is. It's not my specialty, but that to me, we have a possibility at all-time highs. Otherwise, onward and upward.
What I see on this daily, today's the first day in a little while that we've taken out a daily prior day's low. What does that mean? You know, the first sign of a potential break in structure. 1, 2, 4, 5 days in a row where we didn't take out a prior day low, and today we did. Didn't spend a whole lot of time under that, where we still closed inside of yesterday's range, but maybe a little bit of weakness here, as weak as you're going to get in a market that continues to make all time highs every day. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. I think it was Shubham who said today would be a good day to take a look at the 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart. And Shubham, don't disagree with you. Take a look at last night's uh, open. Pretty nice rally last night.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
All this urgency.
That would be defined urgency. Um, and that came in Asia. I don't know what the news was. No, doesn't matter. Buyers were in control last night, until this morning, and that was quite a rally. Um, for night for Asia, we usually don't see that kind of movement, but we broke out. There was emergency, broke out early, and man, what was it, about 150-point rally?
Looks more dramatic than it is. It was about 100 points. About 100 points. To the high, yeah, about 150. But if we're looking just
Okay,
overnight, about 100 made new all-time highs. We did have some pre-market numbers come out that didn't really do much. We came down, checked view up. I came into fast markets this morning saying that I wanted to look for an opportunity to buy this market. And I think with how we've been making all-time highs, I was kind of reluctant to buy the high. But we saw some, really nice volume coming in early. And I got into this trade. I took a 1 micro long. Ideally, I was going to build into a position. And I was looking at never really do this, but I think with the urgency of the volume that came in uh, on this 1 minute candle here, and this is the first minute of the New York session opening range. VWAP looked like it was leaning to the upside. Order flow looked extremely bullish, but I got in with 1 micro instead of 1 mini because I knew I was kind of early, if you will, to this move. I was looking for a pullback, Coach Paul. We never really got it. I was looking for down to 590s. I think we got to 596 and just took off from there. And it turned out to be a pretty good trade, right? 40 points or so. We talked a couple of times about, hey, you don't need to catch the whole move in the Nasdaq for the day if you can figure out how to trade 40 points. Lance Brightstein was on earlier this morning with MP. He was saying that one of the things he focused on at getting to being an eight-figure trader was just leaning into high probability setups with more size, right? Instead of trying to catch the entire move for the day, hey, this is a repeatable setup that I can trade day in and day out. And if I'm going to pay myself more, I'm just going to take more size. So I guess I could have done that in this example. It was a fairly high probability trade. And again, I was only looking for about 40 to 50 points with this 23,650 up here. Um, I do want to talk a little bit about why I got out of that trade. Uh, you guys know I'm an order flow trader. I pay attention to what's on the depth of market. And and the reason I got into this trade, there was a 1500 lot, Coach Paul, at 23,635. We don't see that kind of size on the NASDAQ often. and it a lot of times what we'll see is the market act like a magnet to that. Pushed up to 635s, they pulled the order, and then there was another order that showed up at 23,648. It was about 150 contracts at 23,648, and to me that was a sign. It's like, why put that size 2 points below a major level, which is 650? The market filled that order and immediately turned around, did it in this candle right here, and got that reversal, and that was it for the day. So very happy to get out of that trade. Uh, Somebody was up there selling, and I did not want to fight them because I'm not trading more than 150 contracts. So my account was not going to be able to hold the market up.
No?
No, not at all.
Well, there has to be someone who buys that last one.
Yep, was not
It
going to be
wasn't
me.
you.
It's been me before, not today. Not today. I do want to talk about the potential for a day trade here. I saw some people in the chat talking about this one right here, Coach Paul. And, at that time, had the potential to be. That was low of wasn't the low of the day, it was the low of the New York session.
Mhm.
See this high volume, almost higher than the
There
open.
it is. Mhm.
But what doesn't happen here is important. Talk about could you have bought it down here on these lows? 100%, right? That high volume, you get a spike. But looking for a true reversal, we never got that close outside of that range. So
We might even tick through it a couple times, didn't we?
for the high,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
I think did we? Or was it
yeah. Look at all these wicks up here. So
so
it looked like it, but we never really. And I see some people in the chat talking about, hey, potential J trade, potential J trade. If you guys are going to
yeah,
take it and you're looking for it, I respect it because as soon as I see somebody in the chat say that, I start looking too because I'm like, hey, this is what we've asked for, right? To have other people be our eyes, and as a community, we look for these trades together. But that never closing above that high is a real signal there that there are no buyers in this market at that time in this time frame.
that's interesting because we didn't, when we talk about it, I'm a believer, it has to close. Um, and it boy, one, 2, 3, 4 times, and,
Yeah,
I mean, here's the key, though, is that light volume. It was lower than average volume, while that selling was it should on a J trade should be 2 times the average, even more, preferably more. But like we said, it didn't close there. So now think about this: it doesn't close above that candle. And I just want to reiterate what you said. There's no buyers here. What do I mean by buy ownership buying? Like buying it cheap.
right.
That's what it would a J trade would hook. It's like there was buyers here and they got in and they're still in. We didn't see that, and boy, that was all time highs, right?
Uh,
Before that,
yeah, so this all-time high up here, saw that 100 lot get filled up at the highs, just selling from there, and we got very nice continuation, right? Sometimes that high volume is going to mean continue. You know, reading that in real time could get you in. That's a potential short up here, right? Because now what puzzle do we have here? We have pretty decent range on this 3-minute candle, high to low. That's about 40 points. VWAP is flat from that point. What does flat VWAP mean in this range? Range bound market, right? Opportunity to sell up here or buy the lower extreme, right? Where we did range inside this candle for almost what is that? Almost an hour. We ranged inside this candle. So there was opportunity to trade in this, but the flow for the day, obviously in hindsight, was to the downside. But we never, I think, in order for us to really see that reversal, we needed to close above these 590s and we never got it.
no.
Pretty much ending the day on the lows. Anything else you have on the equities, Coach Paul, that you want to talk?
That wick kind of that's concerning for if I'm long.
Yeah.
we go into, and then we most of the and we had decent volume.
We did.
Um, but with that wick and the body of it in the bottom half, and then finishing with a possible 3-bar reversal tomorrow, I think tomorrow really is really important, especially for the buyers, um,
Anyone think of a
or
catalyst
owners.
tomorrow that could bring us some volatility?
What else is out there besides FOMC?
So we do have some pretty big earnings after the close tomorrow. So we know we have the rate decision. We got ADP employment change number, some more jobs data. We got a GDP number. We have Meta, Microsoft earnings as well. We have Apple earnings on Thursday. So it's not just that Fed rate decision, which I think is kind of a foregone conclusion on what's going to happen there. Fed is not expected to cut rates or to change anything at all. But we do have some data coming out. We have PCE on Thursday as well. So a ton of catalysts or potential catalysts coming out later this week. Uh, that is not just the a predefined Fed decision. Andrew Andrew said it, and Trump still has his phone. So we can get we can get a tweet, we can hear about tariff deals or whatever it is, right? There are a ton of potential catalysts out here, and I can fly Dan. Nobody cares about any of that. I mean, I, Dragonfly Dan, I don't. As Coach Paul and I'm not a fundamental trader. The one thing I know about planned headlines and unplanned headlines is that it's going to bring us volatility. Do I use that information to say, hey, the market should go up or down? Tried, but it never really works. But knowing that it has the potential to bring us volatility is it could be good enough.
Oh yeah, and that's and we know that FOMC day is one of the most volatile period. Doesn't mean it's going to be, but it has a better than even possibility. Now let's take a look at the S&P quickly on a daily, if it looks any different.
A lot different. You got that? You have that 3 bar
Yeah,
reversal, right?
yeah, let's pay attention to that. Um, wow, 2 days in a row of selling, rejecting. It looks a lot different than, oh, not a lot, but it's different than the Nasdaq. Um, a possible 3-bar reversal at all-time highs. Um, if it can't, we just rip higher. But interesting how much different. Let's look at the half when we settled under the 200 on the half hour. When's the last time we were under it? Was it last week?
The last time we closed under was the 22nd,
Yeah,
which was last Tuesday. We didn't spend a whole lot of time under there. We
yeah,
bounced right away, and then before that was the 16th, so about 2 weeks ago.
yeah. So interesting. And now we're getting the lower. Um, let's watch that 200 tomorrow. Let's say we touch that and then we fail. We could make a case for lower, moving lower, possible short-term high in the daily. You know, else look at that. That gap does not look pretty. That Sunday night gap got filled and never really recovered.
Traded into it on the New York session open this morning, rejected right around 50% of it, and sold from there. Uh, One thing Hogue and I were talking about, Coach Paul, during the opening call is the extension we're seeing from this 20 moving average on the daily. This is a market that's still in an uptrend, um, and pullbacks are healthy, right?
Yes, they are.
We're getting a little extended here. We've been talking about, hey, these markets are reluctantly making all-time highs. Do we see a healthy pullback before we continue the next leg up? Um, would not be a surprise. Not be a surprise at all.
Yeah. Good, bad selling drives the market higher.
Uh,
Um,
the 200 moving average that you talked about on 30-minute is at 64.17. So if you want to mark down your levels, 64.17 is that 200 moving average. We're getting ready to see the 20 cross below it, and that has not happened for a couple of weeks as well, for about 2 weeks.
Um, Interesting. Now, I can't leave without looking at an old friend, Rusty.
A market that loves that 20-day moving average.
And about it was settled right on it. Um, Man, the overall market is not the same as the Nasdaq, is it?
No.
This market is stalled.
Yeah, I mean,
Still above the 200, but
Nasdaq has a cheat code, right? You have
yeah,
the biggest company in the world, and it's 14.5% of of your weighting, and it's making all-time highs. Of course, we're talking about
yeah.
all-time highs today, carrying the Nasdaq on its back, while everything else has, a lot to figure out. CFT in the chat, what is going on? Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Anything else you have on the equities, coach?
Um, no, that's it.
Let's go
Let's
to
move.
let's go to crude first, since crude was the bigger mover, and then we'll go to gold afterwards. And then I do want to talk a little bit about that euro trade talked about yesterday. What are we seeing in crude here on the daily?
Well, look at when we talked about this yesterday, that big candle, of course. Then the one behind it, we have the range, and we've been going sideways for a month. But one thing that is, we kind of went on this yesterday. It was like, can it break out of this? It has to close above the high of that range, and it did today. That's pretty healthy. It's above the 20-day. The 20-day. Look what's crossing 50 over the 20. So there, it's above all those. Kind of friendly. Um, Now I don't know what the news was. Um,
Something about the deadline with Russia.
uh,
Something about the deadline with Russia going from 50 days to 10 days to make a deal.
oh, that's right. Okay, well, what's Russia going to do? Stop selling oil? They need it. So what? See, that's why I can we can interpret news any different way that our biases drag us to, but the market movement, it's owned. After that big break, this is the highest close. It's above, and since that, and with the look at the 20-day curling higher, 50-day above the 200. This has got potential to continue to go. Play it from the. I will play it from the long side myself. Um, doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but let's look at today's action from last night.
We
We
all agree that more often than not, we're going to ignore what happens in Asia session for crude oil and pay more attention. London session, that is a suggestion from Coach Paul. I mean, decent trade, decent short from
Mhm.
last night in the Asia session, but on
Yeah, it
very low
was.
volume. Map out the London session open here.
Nothing against the Asian. This is
I mean,
that.
we look at the Asia session
numbers-
for the equities for gold, but it's just for crude oil,
Yeah. Now,
not with volumes.
London's the hub for energy, and we've seen this pattern time and again. And we had urgency last night there. And then, what's interesting is we broke out of it. And where what was the what was the low? Right back to the bottom to the tick. Um, so by the way, it just goes back. These are not give me trades. If you and I don't believe we've ever made an intention that, oh, look, it's easy. But
Far from it.
this far from it. This was a great winner, but there was heat here. Um, I am a firm believer the best trades give you the most heat. It's
Okay.
you almost have to earn it, you know. It's um, but interestingly, look how many times we hit that price,
This red box here, yeah.
and even before it in Asia.
Yep. 66 half, 66 60s we were right around these lows.
Alright, let's mark that number because that's the price of demand for my I mean, 66 and a half. It's like 7 times.
We go back a
So,
little bit, we see this high volume candle from yesterday, which is on the 30-minute, right in the middle of that range. Something happened here. There
mhm,
was a headline yesterday that kind of started this.
okay.
That becomes our new
And
demand area.
now that was the close, I think.
This
So
was the open yesterday.
that was yesterday's open, and
Yep.
we've held that
Hmm.
on massive volume. Something is going on that that's not in the headlines, in my opinion.
Yep.
Look at right, 50% of that into Asia with light volume we can expect, but when when Europe opened up, they were buying. Um, this is and we just gained more momentum. Wow. Like I said, I'm gonna buy the dip in the crude. I could be wrong. Absolutely. But the structure of this market is there's demand and it's kind of urgent. It's like when the buying comes in, like look at those big candles. We saw that big candle on the big volume on on the open yesterday. You see, every time that volume comes in, it moves the market um and continuation. So something's going on. And you know what it is, coach? There's more buyers than
Here's
there
the
are
sellers.
sellers. So nice move. Boy, did it pick up. It was
Good. I
great
mean,
settlement.
who said that? M Stone says, I don't see oil turning bullish, more likely range bound. I don't know that I completely disagree with that. This is a market that needs a catalyst to get out of this range. Otherwise, we do see it range bound, but we are up 5% in the past couple of days. We did see gold do this a couple of days ago and then just sold off.
Mhm.
So, you may be right, but I mean, let's just look at what's in front of us, right? This market is finding some buyers on headlines, right? It's not just kind of floating up. Something comes out and we see that buying come in. So what I'm looking at now, the same way I framed out this high volume candle on the 30-minute yesterday, uh, here is another the highest volume 30-minute candle today, 67.80 at the low, 69.18 highs. Just watching how the market responds to this range. Maybe you add a VWAP here and see if that VWAP leaves a range. But there are some buyers coming into there, whether they're and Mstone, I was just about to say that, right? This could be a short squeeze, right? Where in that consolidation, wouldn't be surprised to have some shorts coming into this market after that huge down day we had, looking for lower. They didn't get it, so now they're bad sellers become great buyers and pushing us higher. What I'll pay attention to is Hogue is going to talk about on the opening call tomorrow the open interest. Are these actual new buyers coming into this market, or is this just short covering? Great point, though.
All right.
Hey,
Let's look at natural gas real quick while we're on the energies.
take a look. What do we got
That was
here
a
on the
big move.
daily and nat gas?
And we've had that big move down, bouncing along. And you said it was up 5% today
Natural
earlier?
gas was up 3%. I think at the high of the day, it was up about 5%.
Yeah. And look at that tiny candle. That's how
Yeah,
that's how that natural gas can make you or break you.
3%.
Let's see. That hardly looks like a bottom to me. Um, yeah, let's see what happened today. Did we get some the selling stopped last night and we rallied?
We did have, I think this was maybe the close yesterday. A little bit of a J
Yep.
trade on a higher time frame, a multi-day J trade. We closed above that high, use it as a support. We did get back above that 200 moving average on the 30-minute.
Ah.
for the
Look at
first
that.
time in a little while. It's been about a week, 10 days.
Yeah,
The market.
and the moving averages are turning over the 200. Hmm, I'm putting that on the player's card for
Uh-oh.
tomorrow. Keep an
Coach
eye on
Paul
that.
scouting report, natural
I
gas.
Yeah, I think, that has a chance of a decent probability, a higher probability for a little rally here. Why? Like you said, we're above the 200. We've tested under it, but those shorter term moving averages are turning over it. We've seen crude correct move higher real quickly. Yeah, I'm watching that.
I want to go back to Crude real quick because the house did take the opening range trade and low probability trade. Hogan JD talk about this trade all the time, not being a high probability, but you have to take it because you don't know when it's going to play out. Here's the 1 minute opening range in crude oil, and it was the dead ass low of the range from that point. A $2.50 move to the upside from that opening range. And if you again, if you look at this trade all last week, JD could not stop saying how much he hated trading crude oil. And what the notes that I take from that lost maybe $100 to $150 every trade. I see it in the chat all the time. Somebody comes in and they're just like, "Oh man, do these house account guys ever win trades? They're always red. Every time I come on this stream, they're red." Blah 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 blah. You're that person. I don't think there's anyone here that's like that because you guys understand that trading is a game of probabilities. And they're 100% accepting that this is a low probability trade. But when it works, watch the execution of that trade because it takes care of all of the losses. This one trade took care of all of the losses from last week, plus some. Uh, so if you see it as red, I think that reaction to that says a lot, right? Where as a trader, we should probably see more red than green on the screens for most people, right? Most people are somewhere near under 50% on their win rate. If you're not, somebody's like, "Oh, I had a 90% win rate." A lot of the times, from my experience, Coach Paul, people I see with a 90% win rate usually blow up an account in a day with the Top Step account because they're attached to being right for day trades.
Well, for day trades and any trade, you don't know when you can't control when you get in. Is it going to be red or green right away? I don't like I just said. There's very few trades put on where it's like instant winner. It's like I said, but to me, I'm going to take some heat if that's what it is. If red means heat to you. Now, there's a really important point here. If our as traders, if it's always if I see red, it's bad. There's a cost to take risk. There's a cost to enter in a poker hand. It's called an ante.
Fine.
You can't get in free. So I mean, that's why we measure out our risk. That's what it costs to get in. Now, when we said that it's $100, $150, 150, then it's a $1,500 winner. Now, which is more realistic than I'm going to make $100 a day for 15 days?
And $15,000 on the 16th day.
Ah,
I'm,
that's
I'm gonna hit the home run with. I'm gonna hit this trade with max allocation, right? I'm gonna take this with as many contracts as I can, and I'll just stack smaller bricks along the way.
so. Let's take that just so we can reiterate this. Let's move that trade all the way to the right. Just what we see when they get in. They're just framing it out. There's nothing in that right there that tells me. I mean, maybe it's me, and I don't. I mean, look at that. There's
To
what
me,
is it in that? Right?
I see
I
nothing
don't
here. And
know.
I said that during the opening call this morning. I said, I'm going to follow you guys' lead because I see nothing in this. And I don't know that they did either. But the trade is the
No,
trade. They don't know that it's gonna move
That's
4%. The trade is the trade, just take it.
that's what you need to do. And then one of the things that gets you into trouble, gets us into trouble as traders, and when we think winners, losers. When you're executing a plan, you're relying on the probabilities. You don't know when you get in, is it going to be one of the losers or one of the winners? But if this has an edge, the edge comes in over time. And I think that's one of the things that really, for people new to the trading arena, it's like I got to craft the perfect trade. And that holds us back to going, oh, fuck it, this thing ain't working. And all of a sudden you stop. How many times have you seen that? Like even with JD, if he just said, "The hell with it, I'm never trading this again," or "I got to change." Well, and this one, there was nothing there. Now here, for me, I like to see it close above that and VWAP, but there's still nothing there that tells me this thing was going to move $3 higher. Um, Great trade. Did they hold it most of the day?
I believe
Because
so.
that's
So I think the trade management that they've kind of accepted was when this trade gets to 1, remove some of the risk off the trade. So if you're taking 5 micros, they're taking 2 or 3 off, and then letting the rest go. So I believe that's what they did. I have to go back and check what of that trade was, but that was the game plan going into it. And like you said, Coach Paul, you got to just trust the setup. Do I know that today is going to be the day that this moves 4%? No. Do I know that this has the potential to be the day that this moves 4%? Yes, and let it play out from there. I think what's really important is those $150 losses. And who was it in the chat? Smooth AF says, when I'm up on P&L, I don't want to lose the gains. However, I see opportunities that I want to take. This shift in mind state leads me to lennying trades. Anything I can do to improve it. Uh, I think that's where it's really important to be able to set reasonable expectations for the outcomes of your trades. And there's a bunch of different ways to do that. I told you with the NASDAQ trade that I took to the long side, um, and if you rewatch the fast markets, I took the Nasdaq long at 614. Andre asked the same way he always does, "Hey, what are your targets on this?" Ideally, I want to get to 23,700, but I'm going to watch the market's reaction to 23,650. Why am I watching 23,650? Because time and time again, through all my trading experience, I've seen that these whole number levels have the potential to stop rallies. So I have to adjust and then go from there, right? So do I want to lose the gains on this trade? No. Does that mean I'm just gonna, take it off at any sign of green? I'm not. But I'm assessing the information that the market is giving me and going from there. In this crude oil trade, they didn't have that, right? There was really never a reason to get out of this crude oil trade. Uh, so you really just do have to kind of let your trades work out. Understand that there are times that this is going to happen, and assess whatever information you can from the markets that says that there's a probability that this is going to happen, because it's going to happen every once in a while. Are you going to catch this full move? Probably not. Um, with your full position, they definitely didn't in the house. But when the market presents opportunities to you, we want to be in as much of that move as possible. Dan Trader, thank you, and thanks for always being here, Dan. Love to see your comments
yeah,
in the
Dan.
chat. What we got
Yeah, thanks.
is 15 minutes left. Let's take a look at gold. Take a look at gold on a daily. What are we seeing here?
Um, an inside day
Yeah.
under the 20 and the 50. And look at the volume. Is it rollover?
Yes. So
Yes, it is. All right.
we should be
So
going
the
down
next
to
one should be OC.
I
Is it
think we're going
OC?
to December. I think we're going straight to December.
All
No,
right.
October. I think you're right.
Yeah, Rocktober gold. Um, which is what most jewelers use to hedge demand for Christmas. Anyway, um, yeah, well, it's hard because that volume is so low, and we don't have a continuation chart that would add those volumes together. But what's we're staying under 20 and 50. It's still losing. Feeling heavy. If this is a response, the buying, whether it's rollover or not, we had this tiny range. What is that? What is that, Coach? A range for ants?
Which France? And we are,
That stuck with me, by the way. That was awesome.
I think the chat did confirm it. I think we are going to uh, we are going to
We are going to December.
yeah.
Okay, now that changed. It used to go to October. Um, and this could have been decades ago. Um, but that we're neutral to feeling heavy here to me. Um, that buying volume, lack of any kind of action inside yesterday's small range. Let's see what today's action was from the half hour. Wow. I don't care that this is not, I mean, even if it's in rollover, ranges are ranges. I mean, there's no rollover in the cash market. Um, we did, I don't overanalyze it. It did nothing. I still think it feels heavy. But that doesn't mean it can. This isn't a bottom. Um, Interesting. Today's range was inside that selling candle from yesterday.
Yes, it was. We never closed outside of this
Wow.
range, and that's similar to what market was that we were just looking at? Was that crude
Yes.
with the large 30-minute candle? Same concept here, right? Look at the from the time this candle printed, like you said, coach, we never left this range. This is a pretty big range. This is 20, almost 30 points in gold. From that point, flat VWAP. What does that say? Range bound market. What do we do at these highs? The opportunity to sell against that high. When this is that picture, because the market is saying that we've settled in this range. Now, is that just until we're done with the roll, what have you? But yeah, we cannot find any buyers outside of that.
It'd be interesting to see at the end of the month what gold does if this is a pattern. And I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but it seems like at the end of the month things just die. Like, and
Right.
then whatever the allocation is from a central bank is okay. Buy it on the first. Not- um, who knows? But man, a whole day's range in gold was inside. Well, okay, we had a wick above that.
I count that.
Um, but wow,
Yeah, inside that range. Um, we know gold, it's not gonna stay like that. Gold, hope you heard that. Please don't stay like this. You've been the best trading market that we've had in a while, and maybe crude oil's taking your spot, but, I'd much rather trade gold. Please don't get stuck here. Thanks.
uh, gold
Sign
just
sign to
sent
trade.
a text back.
Right. I'm gonna do what the hell I wanna do.
Yeah.
Alright. They did not take the opening range trade in gold this morning. Looks like it turned out to be a good decision. JD did not like what the order book looked like in the micros. Very thin order book, a function of rollover. Would have worked out a little bit. I think they would have gotten a 2-to-1 on the trade. Get in here, risk the low, 1.5 to 1. Didn't take the trade. Ultimately, may have gotten stopped out on this, depending on how we managed up here. So tough trade today with that rollover action. We got about 10 minutes left, Coach Paul. I want to ask you, what were you seeing in the euro yesterday that made you put this
Okay.
on your scouting report? Is I took the trade last night during slow markets, and this was a great trade. Almost no drawdown on this. What were you seeing, Coach Paul? And talk to us about it.
Well, we saw yesterday, yesterday's action. We had that large range and actually large volume, better than the average. But we went from the 20 to the 50-day moving average in one day. On the biggest range we've seen, at least on that, what we see here, that kind of action is liquidation of longs. Why? Doesn't matter to me. Um, be a bonus. But we look at the half an hour. We closed right at the 50, mark that 50-day moving average and where we closed. Now, I've done this a long time. I know this. Large funds watch the 20, 50, and the 200. So I want to know, I know they do. All right. So let's see what they do when we get there. Now, with the background of that liquidation from the 20 to the 50, and look, and we start with yesterday's action. They had a big break. The chances of it turning around and ripping up are not good. So let's go from last night's opening.
Here we go. And again, you were talking about yesterday, Coach Paul. We see it here. I marked out where that 20-day moving average was. That volume came in during the London session, which makes sense. We're looking at the euro. We had news of that trade deal yesterday, and then we have last night's action right here.
And once again, it picked up steam or picked up volume in Europe. So if we just 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock Eastern, mark out that candle.
By the time 3 a.m. Eastern came in, we were down here. I
All
actually
right.
think I woke up and closed the trade. Take a look.
Nice. And a 2-to-1 trade. I'm going to say this isn't the home run, or I wouldn't uh, put on 10 lot. It's just, it has a high probability of following through. I don't think, and look at that. I mean, if that was going to be buying, it should have happened. If that was cheap and it was of value, there'd be buyers right on the opening of Asia.
Right.
So I see, boom, right there it is, and it still looks pretty heavy. I mean, there's no reaction on buying. Think of this. There's this big selling, and what's referred to as a dead cat bounce for cat lovers. I'm sorry. Well, let's say a dead mouse bounce. Um, there's just no reaction to it. If this was good, and remember, we've had this rally, so we see big volume and not much reaction. I think we can still, and it's the end of the month.
Yes, it is.
I
Trading
find that
days
interesting.
left.
And in Europe, for all our European listeners, are you going on vacation for about 3 to 4 weeks, which is very common in Europe? Maybe that has something to do with this too, but I'm a technician. And to me, there was a high probability that this was going to follow through. I didn't think it would all come in one candle, um, but it did. We're still under the 200 on the half hour. This market still looks heavy.
I agree with you, Coach Paul. Ending the day pretty close to the lows. Let me take the clear. But ending the day somewhere near the lows. Did have a little bit of a bounce, but yeah, looks heavy. And again, we bring these up. Coach Paul was talking about. We ask Coach Paul every once in a while what's on his scouting report. That is not a suggestion to take a trade. That is 40 years of experience in these markets and identifying where potential opportunity may be. The market still has to present the trade um, for it to be a great opportunity. Every once in a while, they're not going to work out. But I think I should have been keeping stats on the Coach Paul scouting report. It is every once in a while, not often. Uh,
Well, well, that's just it. Uh, Markets aren't always poised for high probability trades. Um, I look at the only because I've traded it, I've been involved in just almost every futures market you can name. From when I started it as, by the way, I was a board marker. So, so many people might not ever know. They used to keep the prices with a piece of chalk, and then the members in the pit would be looking at that, and I'd be reading the prices and then writing them down. And then I was 18, 19 years old. Then I got pretty good at it, and they sent me to wherever it was busy. Now, that part is I'm wherever it's busy, I want to be. Maybe it's in my DNA. But what I've done is I've watched every market. Um, a market that has good DNA of opportunity, I call, is where I scan for. When I saw that yesterday, I said, this has got a high probability. Um, by the way, the key word is probability.
Percent. No guarantees. Avoid speaking in
And that's what,
absolutes.
yeah, we don't. And remember, I've said this numerous times. I'm not good on range trading. It just doesn't fit me. So that might be the antithesis of the people who like range trading. Um, and that's fine. I mean, I'm not putting anything down on it. It works for me. And
Coach Paul.
natural gas is the one I'm looking for tomorrow.
I like it. I like it. Something I'll put on my scouting report for tomorrow. And this is just because we have that Fed rate decision. Are the Treasury products? Looking at this is the 30 year. Uh, you're in an interesting spot here, Coach Paul. Looking at ZB on the daily, right at that daily 200 moving average. Uh, Shout out to Portland.
Thank you for
Oh yeah, no problem. But shout out to Cortland. The reason I'm bringing this up, Coach Ray and I used to do it. Probably gonna start it back up, but Cortland Taylor, who works at Topstep, helped us run that session. And like most of the people who work at Topstep, Cortland's a trader as well. He said he only ever trades the Treasury products. He trades the 30 year and the 10 year, and he knows exactly how many trades he's going to take in a month because his trades in the Treasuries are based around the economic calendar. One of those economic releases is the FOMC rate decision. So I'm gonna keep these up. Shout out to Cortland, who that's probably some of the most discipline I've seen from a trader at Top Step in general. Whether that be our traders on our leaderboard or just anyone at the company. I'm only taking trades based around this economic calendar because that's when the best opportunities are. I ask all the time to some of our traders, myself included, how many days do you go without taking a trade? Portland might trade 4 or 5 days a month, and it works out for him.
They're great. I love to hear that.
Yeah,
Because we talk, you don't have to trade.
right.
When we talk about this, I mean, I- especially if in one market, 80% of the time it's going to be
Range bound.
going sideways. It's going to be grinding.
Yep.
Um, and if you feel you have to trade, then you're not executing some kind of trading plan or process. I mean, you can get spun around. How many times? I ask our audience, how many times you've been spun around trying to make money? Yeah. Um, that's when it happens when you feel you have to be involved. You don't. Now, you know who has to be involved? Market makers,
They get paid to be involved.
end users, producers, um, institutions. They have to be involved. Speculators don't. I mean, that's a great point. And that takes a lot of, experience because, if I just do this buy low, sell high all day, just gonna hit it out of the park.
Yeah, tough.
It's tough. some people can do it, don't get me wrong, but it's not many, and how long you can burn out too. I've seen that. I mean, because you always have to be on top of it. Um, so, but thanks for bringing that up right at the
right at
200.
the 200. Also rejecting at the highest volume candle on the daily that we've
And
seen in the past 5 years.
and that was the tariff
Yes, it was.
day, was it?
Yes, it
Which
was.
the, half
Interesting.
that volume came in during our during at the buzzer.
Yeah, it did.
Remember?
It did. Interesting spot here. Interesting spot.
Very interesting
Katie
considering
says,
all
has
the
volume left the
politics.
range? It did. Interesting.
So, wow. And you know what? I could also, man, that's not a great trend line. Never mind. There is a trend line here. Yeah. But I wouldn't use that high. I would use the secondary high. That one to yeah.
Hey, keep this up.
Yeah, let's see it.
We are at time here, Coach Paul. Anything you want to say before we go into the day? Send
Yeah,
everybody over to
coming
Coach
into
Paul.
FOMC, don't right in front of it. Yeah, I can't say don't because you're going to do what you want to do. But from my experience, especially in a day trade, don't get out in front of it. It's not our job as speculators. You don't have to be involved in front of that announcement. Let it play out, or even if don't even just trade in the morning and stop trading until after, or wait till third. I know a very old student of mine who won't trade on the day before FOMC or FOMC, and he does well. So when I go back to, you don't have to trade in front of it. You don't even have to trade tomorrow. Wait for your setup to come to you. That's it.
Stuff. Trade well, everyone. Manage your risk. Talk to you all tomorrow. Coach Roberts is doing a class in Discord right now. Coach Hoop is coming up in about 10 minutes. Then we have Coach Ray and Coach Vince at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Central Time. Of course, Coach Dakota with Slow Markets at 7:30. Aaron with the London Open at 1:30 a.m. Central Time. Deanna, tomorrow's Wednesday, so she'll have Dr. J on with her at 3:30 a.m. Central Time for a Neuro Wednesday. Then we have Topstep TV back with the opening call tomorrow. Myself, Hogue, and JD. So prepared for you. See Doom in the chat. He's going to be on Fast Markets tomorrow with Coach Dakota. And then we got the
Boom.
FOMC party. A lot of content for you, a lot of tradertainment for you, hopefully helping you become a better trader. Thank everyone again for joining us today. Andrew, thank you as always for helping us session and just posting funny comments in the chat. Every time I see Andrew post something, it's usually pretty funny.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
good. And
so
thank you, Andrew. We keep forgetting he's in the background here. It would be hard to do the show without him.
yes, it would be. Trade well, manage your risk, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done so already, and we will see you all tomorrow. I'm gonna figure out this exit because I definitely have the wrong one. Oh, I queued up the slow markets music. We're just gonna go to the at the buzzer slide. See you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.